Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of
Allegedly Credible.
I'm your girl, Lady Fay, and this is
Mellow Supremo.
and we're two friends that are giving our thoughts and opinion based on our actual personal life experiences. But this time, this episode, which is the last episode of the season,
We're here.
This episode, we're gonna ask you guys for your advice. We want your advice. You can bring it to us, as me mainly that needs the advice, because I am not.
What are you trying to say?
I need advice.
Okay.
And I want you guys to give me advice. That's what I just said.
Okay.
So, anywho, I'm going to give this disclaimer. Our thoughts and our views are always constantly evolving. We're not experts. Sorry, I got a burp in my mouth. We're not experts, nor do we claim to be. And, you're free to take our advice and you're free not to. But this time, like I said, I'm going to be taking you guys' advice because I need it. So the question is, would you marry me? Okay. So I am.
Meet me at the altar. Your white dress. We ain't getting no younger.
I am very single. I am super single. I've been single for a while now. I've never had
Yo, she's serious. She closed.
I closed the laptop.
She closed the
laptop.
No, I want to show the stickers.
Oh, the stickers on my laptop.
It's so
here. If you guys don't know by now, I'm very artistic. I like arts. I mean, I designed our stickers, but
yeah,
these are other artists I like to collect. But anywho, I literally have been single for years now. Yes, years. Like, I've had flings. I've had small romantic encounters, but I've never been with a partner long term. So, I think the longest I was 15 in a long distance relationship with this dude that literally I was not compatible with at all. And then ever since then, it's just been a series of flings. The closest relationship I've had was probably when was it? I met this dude in 2018. Mm-hmm. Stole my heart. Mm-hmm. But we didn't make it, and it didn't work out. And one thing for me that I try to understand is am I a horrible person? Am I a bad person? Is it hard to
mm-hmm.
I am?
Mm-hmm.
I am?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with me, Mel? You tell me. What's wrong?
Well, no, I was kidding. You're not a bad person.
But sometimes I feel I just struggle with relationships. I know that I can kind of be distant sometimes, and I know that sometimes I can have a lot of expectations, but I don't think I'm that hard to be with. I feel I'm very easygoing and very chill. But when I have expectations, they're more for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I realized is I have a hard time even finding out what a guy didn't even like about me. I won't find out until I never know, because it's literally I'll be talking to a person, we'll be having a good conversation, everything be going well, and then all of a sudden they just stop talking to me. They ghost. That's the new thing, ghosting, which I freaking hate it. I would never ghost anybody, but people ghost me all the time. It's so weird. Or one of the biggest things that I don't even know if this is a compliment or not is when people are oh, you're so chill, or you're so different from other girls, or you're you're not what I was expecting. And I'm is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. But part of me is just it must be a bad thing, because nobody ever makes it serious.
I'll say it like this. I used to be like that too. Oh, I'm different from we're all different from other girls. We're all different from other girls. I'm not like Danielle and she's not like me. And maybe it's oh, well, I'm different because am I different? Am I gonna accept some of your bullshit, or am I different because I'm more chillaxed about things than other people? I don't know. Do you want people to give you headaches? Is that what?
No,
you want?
I don't want that.
No, not
like,
you. I'm talking about like
saying.
the guys. Like, do you want someone that's gonna give you like a whole bunch of drama and like try to recreate Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know, because I'll give an example. Like, so
I'm not high maintenance. Or at least I don't think I'm a high maintenance person. I probably are.
I don't know. I don't think I'm high maintenance. But I mean, I've had other people tell me I'm high maintenance.
But I think that's what guys like. I kind of low key. I think that guys like high maintenance chicks because they know exactly how to play them. I think they're like, well, as long as I do the bare minimum and give them the flowers, or as long as I, show the wake up text, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess I don't even need all that. Like, literally,
exactly.
I'm very simple.
And guys don't know how to act. Guys don't know how to act. Guys need a script.
They need a script.
Guys need a script in order to feel like they're, applying all the key factors that make a relationship.
I guess.
Well, I opened the door for you that one time. Like, okay, I can open up my door.
I have do hands. That. I can't do that myself. You're right. And I think that's the other thing. Like, sometimes I don't know if it's me because I know that I really don't ask for guys. I've never really asked anybody for money. I never asked for them to pay for me. Actually, when I really think about it, technically, on all the dates I've ever actually been on, I've actually either paid. Sometimes I've paid for both of us. And not that it was, like, necessarily a negative thing, per se. Like, I don't care for paying for whatever. If it's something I wanted to do, I don't care paying for it. But, like, or we split. I don't think I've really actually had a guy pay for me. Maybe, like, once or twice I've had a guy pay for me. But for the most part, it's like, I don't really want your money. I never asked for it. I never wanted it. I mainly just want your time and company and your companionship. And it's just kind of like, I don't know if that's a negative thing, me not, like, needing you to be there, per se. I feel like all guys definitely want to be needed, or wanted, I guess. But I don't know. So that's why I'm, like, asking you guys. I need some, like, advice here because I don't know, like, I'm not really a damsel in distress. I'm not going to ask anybody to help me. I know how to like take care of things. I've been so used to taking care of like my family and taking care of like myself that I don't think too much about it.
Do you think that by you being that type of person, is that like emasculating the man?
I don't know.
Like, because guys want girls to be able to like handle their own. They say like, oh, I want an independent woman, but I'm like, do you really want an independent woman? Do you want a modern day woman, like not one of those not talking, not bashing people that are like, oh, I cooked for you and cleaning for you and all that, but isn't that what you get a lot? And guys like, well, I just need you to.
Okay, well, I did have a person tell me.
Yeah, a couple people, right?
It was mainly one. It was mainly one guy, like literally. And we were just talking. He found in whatever. He went into a whole thing where it turned out like I had a lot of guy friends, and there are some. What are you doing to
me? Your thing was sticking out.
Oh, okay. Like, what? Anyway, he had I know this is kind of an issue. I do have a lot of guy friends. But I have a lot of guy friends, and somehow we talked into the whole situation of it, and pretty much it was a red flag that I had a whole bunch of guy friends, because having a guy friends is like, in some guys' thoughts or views, is like being a hoe out here, even though I haven't had sex with any of them. But it's just like, they just don't believe that you can have guy or male friends. And then as we were talking about it, he had mentioned like, well, if I'm providing everything for you, and all I want is for you to cook for me, clean for me, and pretty much be my personal slut. I shouldn't have to ask for sex. I should be able to get sex whenever I want
That's problematic.
And that, like, I was like, wait, what? Like, in my brain, I'm just like, wait, first of all, like, that person still owns the body. Like, I mean, it's still like, you still own your body.
How are you going to go and say, like, well, this is what you need? I'm bringing all this to the table. That stuff that I didn't even ask for.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna say like, I just need you to make sure that you take care of this realm,
right?
And this realm is so like,
and I think that's
Stepford wifey,
and
like,
I think that's part of the reason why I've never like I've been very cautious about dating certain people because it's just like, mind you, I'm already going to take care of that anyway.
Yeah.
Because I know how to wash dishes.
But
I know
once
how to
you
cook.
tell
I know
me-
how to clean. But
once
once
you
you tell me that
bro,
that's expected, that's where I'm
not
just
gonna
like,
do it.
yeah, okay.
I'm gonna put poison in your meatloaf.
I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm just going to be like, bye. But I think that sometimes it's like, once you tell me that, once you're like, okay, I kind of don't feel like there's anything to be discussed or talked about because it's just kind of like I said, I would do it anyway. And if I really like you, sex is not a problem. I have a huge sex drive, so it's like, that's not a problem if I like you. But it's just
And what
more
would be
of
the
like,
conditions? What would be the conditions for like if you? I mean, I know you're not that type of person, but what would be the conditions that you would set for him? Would there even be any? Like you, I don't even know. Like, what are you supposed to ask to guys? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, because as I said, when we had that conversation, I was like, well, I would never ask you to pay my bills in the first place. I mean, because that's where I was just going to say, like, this is where I feel like when that happens, there's some type of manipulation going on, because it's just like, okay, most of the time when I do things for you is because I want to do it. I honestly want to, and I'm not even going to ask you for anything because I want to. If you're doing something and you're doing this, this, and this, but I expect this, it's just like, okay, well, maybe that was established with somebody else, but it's like, I don't know, I don't need you to do all that. That's not what I want from you. When I'm looking for somebody in terms of dating wise, like, or like trying to establish a relationship, I want somebody who is honest. I'm a very honest person, so I want that honesty too. And I guess that person was speaking their truth, so I appreciate their honesty as well. Kind of gave me, you know, my own decision part. But also, like, I think that I want somebody who we can have a conversation. Like, I want to be able to talk and have real conversations, and not like where we're gonna get upset. And even if we do get upset, I feel like there's a way we should be able to handle it. Like, don't storm off, don't run away, don't do any of that. Like, we're adults, we should be able to talk.
We should.
I think also, like, I want someone who we have like common interest, and we don't have to have everything in common, but enough, you know. I think like that's the basics or generics of it. But also, you know, I'm very business oriented, very goal oriented. So I want somebody to have that same drive as me.
Yeah, there was
so we can build with each other. Like, you know, like I want to be able to build I want to be able to build a life together where we're like helping each other out in some type of way. But I feel like sometimes it's hard because a lot of people say they want all this stuff, but then when the actions prove to go with it, it just doesn't line up.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just because they're not used to it or whatever, but it just doesn't line up.
So, like, when you were saying that, like, sharing interests, there, I was, looking at something yesterday, is, like, the 7 principles of making marriage work. And, it was saying, so the 7 principles are: 1, enhance love maps, nurture fondness and admiration, turn toward, accept influence, solve solvable problems, overcome gridlock, and creating a shared meeting.
What's a love map? What is that? Like, is that like love languages or?
Yeah, like, so love mapping is like, if your love language is, well, what's your love language? I forgot yours.
Acts of service.
Okay, so your love language is acts of service, and then like I would be able to like meet you. We're not together, guys. But like your partner would meet you there, and then you would be able to, you know, do my love language.
Okay.
It would be like, I don't know, words of affirmation or something.
Okay.
Like we'll be able to, you know, we might not have the same love language, but we can still meet each other there. We know how to get there so we can both feel.
So kind of like navigating each other, like figuring out like what you guys are like or stuff like that. All right.
Love map, but name 2 of my closest friends. Like, we know stuff about each other.
Oh, okay. So you know, okay, all right.
And
okay.
not just like 2 strangers in the same house.
Which makes sense. Like, and that's why, like, when I first date, and maybe this is annoying. I don't know. When I first date, I ask a lot of questions because it's like, I'm really trying to get to know you. I want to get to know you. Oh, that was another thing. Like, so I was dating this one guy. It was brief. Like, we were just talking. But one thing that annoyed me was I was like, he'd be like, oh, yeah, I really just want to get to know you. But then he had no questions for me. And I'm like, how are you going to get to know me if you don't ask me any questions?
Was that the guy that showed up at Applebee's looking like he just rolled out of bed?
No, that was... No. That was the guy that was on this phone the whole night we were on the date.
He just looks like somebody that wears... Well, I never met this guy, but he sounded like that's a guy that just walks outside in their house shoes.
And the crazy part is, it's like, I met him online and he was like, really like... We were talking and, you know, he seemed okay. He dressed nice, like, based on his pictures. And then when I actually, like, met him, like, I'm like, I mean, I know we went to Applebee's, but, like, I still dressed nice. Like, I still had, like, I was casual, but I didn't look like I rolled out of bed. Like, yeah, you could tell I put some effort in.
Yeah.
And it was like, I felt like he didn't put any effort in. So I was just kind of like, god dang, like, what? And then, like... He was on the phone the whole time. And it's just like, we're not talking. We're not communicating. But no, the other person I was talking about, like, would just be like, hey, like, I want to get to know you better. Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay. So I'm asking 50 questions, like, about you and your family and what you're doing. Da-da-da-da. And it was like, I felt like he didn't ask anything. And the only questions that he would ask were just complete sexual. So it was like, that's not you getting to know me better. So that's not you getting to know me better.
Enhance your love maps means, like, you know all your partner's relevant information from life dreams to favorite movies to, like, as a like, that's your best friend or a close friend.
All right.
Okay. So, and then now, these principles, they might make a healthy marriage or relationship. I'm just going to say, I don't do all these. And I'm going to work on it. Our relationship is a work in progress, but as long as you're trying.
Right.
So nurture fondness and admiration. You have a positive view and deep appreciation of your partner and express it. So, like, you know how to, make them happy and appreciate something that they do, like something that me and Taryn do, which I don't even know if he likes it or not. But I noticed. Okay, so he put the car seat in. Mm-hmm. He put the car seat in the car correctly, and I was just like, "Good job! Like, good shit, good shit." And I don't know how that, but I just wanted him to know that I appreciated that I didn't have to go behind him and, like, check if it was tight and stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I feel like I on paper, everything looks good. Everything looks nice. But, like, there's some type of disconnect when it comes to me actually dating or something. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm missing in that. Like, and it's weird because I don't want anybody to think, like, I don't like being by myself. I do like being by myself. I spend a lot of time by myself. But sometimes it's just like, I'm going to just say this. I feel like I was happier when I was having sex on a regular basis. But,
You see it? Right. Oh, the back, the front. There you go. Your hand's on it.
Okay.
There you go. I know that you don't. Why you keep making it worse?
What are you talking about?
You see it? Hey, other side.
I don't know.
There you go. So I think that it's time for you to find someone that wants to share you as much as you want to share them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do you even do that? Because I feel like I can't even get past a certain step, like a certain phase. It's just like all right, so let me rewind it a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you some things about myself. Like, so I say this all the time. Like, I'm just a creative person, so I always like to create things. I do art. I write music. I don't know. I'm just always doing something, and I like to work out. I like, cooking. I do like going on adventures. I like going places. I can be at home. I don't mind being at home. But at the same time, it's just kind of like I I just like to experience life
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. So, and I pretty much I don't live by myself. I do have a roommate, and yes, my roommate is a male, and I've had issues with that, but I'm gonna also explain in terms of which I try to explain to people, and I don't know if they just don't believe me or whatever. But this is actually before I even had a male roommate. But anyway, it's just like, yeah, I have a lot of male friends, but most of my male friends I grew up with, like they were my brother's friends, and then I took them. And then that's the same thing with my my male roommate. Like he was my brother's friends, and I took him. And I would have moved out with my brother.
That's a whole
I
nother story.
would have moved out with like one of my female friends, but I'm literally technically the only female friend that's like single. All the rest of my female friends pretty much have everybody, and they just weren't. They didn't have the financial
means.
some of the ones that weren't to move in with me. So it was just kind of like at the time I really need to move out, and I was seeing somebody, and I thought that like it was going to go the distance, which technically was slightly my fault because now I think about it, I think he told me he really wasn't. And then also like I think
Don't put that on him. Don't put that on you.
I am a little bit, but like I think also
You mean like not knowing, not reading the signs?
yeah, but also like I think it was shit, what am I trying to say? I think that also he had like no, god damn it, I lost what I was saying.
You were saying about like
yeah, also when I moved in with my male roommate,
Yeah.
like literally I thought that it was going to I was already seeing somebody even though we didn't have a label or title or anything. I was seeing somebody. So when I asked like, "Oh, can I move out with my male roommate?" like or can I move out with my friend? He said he didn't have a problem with it, and that's all I cared about because it was just kind of like, well, if he doesn't have a problem with it, that's the person I'm trying to build my life with or I want to build my life with, then I'm not going to care. But but now as being single and trying to find somebody, I've had some issues with that. I know a lot of guys don't like me having a male roommate, but to be honest with you, it's just like I barely see him, and it's just if I wanted anything,
they have two separate living
we have two
quarters.
separate bedrooms.
Yeah.
It's not like we're together all the time. I barely
Yeah.
see him. Like our schedules aren't even like
They're
on the same length. So I do spend a lot of time alone, and it's just like if I was doing anything with my roommate, I wouldn't be trying to talk to you. So that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't even get that chance. But
That's
even
like,
with people who don't know that I'm dating, it's just like, or people who say they're fine with it, I just get frustrated because it's just like we'll have this period where we're talking, everything's fine, and then it's just like they disappear. So I'm just kind of like, what am I doing wrong? Is it me? And I'm obviously going to think it's me. And I know other people are going to be like, oh, don't think it's you because X, Y, and Z. I'm going to think it's me because I'm the common factor. I go through this whole thing, this whole list of what's gone on. And it's just like, if I'm the common factor, then I have to figure out what I feel like there's something I'm missing or something that, and I know sometimes people just don't work out, but the fact that it happens often enough, that's what I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there has to be something with me, but I don't know.
Like I mean, I do agree that you should take some type of responsibility because that's the only thing that you can take control of. But I mean, I don't really know what to say because it's not like you're a weirdo. It's not like you're a creeper. I like hanging out with you.
I know you like hanging out with me, and most of my male friends do too. Like,
Yeah.
most people do.
I think it's just a matter. I think you can be intimidating. Like I said, I think you can be intimidating to guys. Like maybe you're too self-reliant.
So what am I supposed to do? Be
I
like,
don't even know. Like, what do you
pay
do
this
with that?
bill? Like, I don't even understand.
You gotta create some type of incentive that a guy can go and input themselves. You know what I mean? Like how you have to create a space for a guy to see like, okay, I can see myself doing this, cuz guys are different than girls. Girls are more nurturing, and guys need to feel like they're needed. You know what I mean? You gotta fulfill, you gotta have a space so that they can fulfill one of your needs.
You remember that one time when you were saying like, where I was talking to you on the phone and I was talking about like, oh yeah, I would definitely talk to like my exes. I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like, I would want to know. And I think that's part of the reason why, because I would want to know specifically like, well, what was it like? I want to hear it. I don't like speculating anything. I want them to tell me. Because if I speculate, then I'm just going to try to fix things, like, with myself. That might not even necessarily have been the problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like, That's how I am. And I think that sometimes, like, with me personally, I'm very hard on myself. But it's, like, weird because I will do whatever I need to correct it. But if I don't know there's a problem, I can't correct anything. But then some people are like, well, you don't need to fix yourself. You should love yourself as you are. And I'm like, I do love myself. That's the thing. I know I'm dope.
That's the thing. Because, okay, so I kind of had the same philosophy with, like, body shaming. I mean, maybe it's not body shaming. But you know how people are like, oh, I want to go get this fixed, or I need to, you know, I need to work out to lose this, that, and the third. The foundation thought is, because you love yourself, that's why you feel the need to go and put yourself in a, like, okay, perfect example, Lizzo. Everybody's like, well, why does she feel like she need to go and change anything about her? So she claims that she loves herself the way that she is, and da da da. Like, yeah, you can love yourself, you can love your body, but you can still want better things for yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you might be overweight now, or you might be out of shape now, but because you love yourself, because the love for yourself, that's why you're going to make better changes.
Right. And I guess that's the thing. Like, I'm like, okay, dating wise, I just don't know. Like, I don't even know what those changes should be. I guess that's the thing. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. I just need some type of advice. Mainly, like, guys, like, let me know. Like, because this is one thing too. Here's the other thing. Like, if a guy is, like, coming up to me and just like, oh, you're so beautiful, and, like, you're this and you're that, but, like, we can't have a conversation, of course I'm going to be rude. Because I don't want you to tell me how beautiful I am every 5 seconds.
Wait, why?
Why? Because what are we talking about? What are we doing?
So what does it even look like? Well,
hey, beautiful. Hey, sexy. Hey, how are you? I'm doing good. I want to talk to you. Like, oh, how was your day? It was great. Yeah, I'm sure it was. And they'll just be like, oh, so what are you doing, sexy? Okay, I'm in bed. Oh, I can't wait to see what you're wearing. Like, what are you wearing? Can you send me a pic? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I have PJs on. Like, what are we talking about? Like, this isn't a conversation. If every time we talk, it's just like, hey,
How
sexy,
is that rude?
hey, beautiful. No, me being rude? Because after a while, I'm going to be like, I start clowning them. Like, like, is this what you talk about? Is this the only vocabulary you have? Do you have other words in your vocabulary? Like,
yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, this is annoying. Then I have people who I feel like have a fat fetish, and it's annoying. Like, literally, I don't know how I'm supposed to take it. It's like, yes, I know I'm pretty. Like, yeah, I know, like, okay, like, size doesn't matter to in certain extent, but to another extent, it's just like, literally, all you talk about is how thick I am or how big I am and how this and that, and it's just like, okay, there's so much more to me than my size. Like, I don't want, like,
body positivity.
And then I've had people literally ask me, like, what? How much weight are you trying to lose?
That was weird. That was weird, because they were like, if you lose too much weight,
Yeah, I'm not going to find you attractive
That
anymore.
makes no sense.
So I'm like, so it's literally not about me. It's literally about how I physically look.
I'm gonna change gears for a quick second.
Okay.
So like, you remember, I guess it was like a few years ago. I think it was an episode on Jerry Springer or Maury or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, the guy ended up marrying this chick, and once they got married, she took off her wig, and she like showed her natural hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the guy ended up divorcing her.
Okay.
It's like, she didn't show me. I didn't know what I was getting married to. Like, come on now, that's foul.
In which terms? Because I think that differently. And the reason why I say that is because, like, if
You're gonna go and divorce the whole chick because she didn't show her?
Because if you lie about that, what else can you lie about?
Okay.
That's why I think that's a totally different story in my head. Because in that aspect, I don't pretend that I'm not trying to lose weight. I don't act like I'm not. Now, if you're dating somebody and like the whole time they have natural, like they have weave in their hair, and you never let them know, like, yeah, that's a whole nother level of, like, I guess,
deception.
It's a whole nother level of, like, vanity, I guess you could say. Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, oh, you don't like me with my straight hair. But that whole time, like, even when I ever had extensions and I was dating somebody, I always let them know this is
not my hair. Mm-hmm.
And I'll send them a picture of, like, oh, this is my actual hair. Like, I'm not going to pretend.
I'm not going to catfish
I'm
anybody.
not going to do that. And there are some people who do that. So I think that's a totally different thing, because there are people that are out there that, like, they'll wear the makeup and they'll wear the lipstick and they'll wear all this makeup.
Going to bed. And then
like, when you get married and then, like, you take... Because have you seen those videos on, like, YouTube or, like, Instagram or anything like that,
like new
where
face.
You look completely different than how you actually presented yourself, and you're just kind of like, what happened? So to me, that's a totally different thing. I'm not gonna, like, that's not the same. I feel like for me personally, I'm letting you know, I'm very honest. Like, I'm upfront. I'm a big person. Like, I've never been small.
Yeah.
But I'm also upfront, like, I'm trying to lose it. So it's like, if you're getting on me, like, if you're like just focused on the weight side of things, then yeah, I'm gonna be uncomfortable. And that goes vice versa. That goes, like, even if you're like, oh, you're pretty, but, because that happens to me too. Like, oh, you're pretty, but you weigh too much. Or you're like, and that's another thing. I feel like I've had guys that were attracted to me and really liked me and liked my personality and liked all that, but I guess maybe because of society standards, they did not want to be out in public with me. Mm-hmm. Like, I was okay behind closed doors, but when it came out to being in public, they didn't want me around, or they didn't want to date me, or, you know, be involved with me in that way. So that's something I've struggled with as well. Just in terms of just, like, I don't know. I just have a hard time with dating. And I think that's why I think after a while, I tried to convince myself that I was okay with being single. I mean, I am. I'll put it that way. But, like, how can I put it? I'm okay with my own company. That's the best way to say. But at the same time, it's just like, there are things that I want out of my life, and I would like to have a partner with me to do it.
Yeah.
Not that I can't do it by myself, but...
So would you say that you're relying, or do you rely more so for guys to approach you, or would you feel comfortable approaching guys?
Oh, I would approach guys. I do it all the time.
So you ask them for your... Okay.
Yeah, I've done it.
Were you always like that?
Well, I was always like that? No, I wasn't always like that. I used to be very shy and very, like, uncomfortable, but that was in general. I wasn't very confident in myself.
And how did that change? Like, what made you want to change from that?
From being more confident? I think I just grew up. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was always, like I said, I was always teased for being fat. I was told I was ugly. I was told a lot of different things, and I think I believed those lies. And then when I was big, but whatever. But like, that doesn't make me ugly, and that doesn't make me, like, unapproachable, you know, whatever. And then I think also, like, I think you're also conditioned, like, oh, you know, if a guy expressed interest in you, like, you wait for the guy. It's not on you, blah, blah, blah. But then after a certain point, I was like, you know what? I know what I want. This guy looks attractive.
I'm gonna
talk to them.
Yeah.
So I have done that. I have approached guys. I have talked to them. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time, I think I pull the plug because I see something that I'm like.
You pull the plug on what?
I pull the plug on like, okay, I'm not going to pursue this much further.
Oh, okay.
Because I see some stuff that I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not. I'm not ready to deal with that. Mostly because they have kids or they're way older than me or they're way younger than me. Because that's all I pull. I mean, in general, like most guys that actually come to talk to me or like ask me, like they're either older than me. And when I say older, like 10 years plus, or they're younger than me, which lately has been like between the 7 years or younger. Like maybe like I had the youngest person I've had like hit on me was like 20. I'm in my 30s now.
Yeah,
that's
just
a
like, big ass gap.
That's a huge gap. And I like for people my age, I feel like I don't really do that. And I don't know why. I just can't figure it out. So I think that's the main thing for me. Just trying to figure out like dating wise what I should do. So you guys let me know. Like I don't know. I'm very self-sufficient. I don't ask for much. I just mainly ask for time. It's just like, give me time. Like, text me, call me. I actually like calls more than text. Maybe I'm a weirdo for that.
I mean, I feel like this is going to be problematic too. What would be your perfect guy? Like, what's your type? Do you have one?
I mean, physically or mentally or altogether?
I mean, we got like 10 minutes left. 20 minutes left in this, so we can go through all the realms.
Okay, so this
let's map it out. Let's put it all out there. A.
A. So
what are you attracted to? Men. B.
Yes, I'm attracted to men.
Do you like men or young men or old men? Or...
I like men my age.
Okay, so we're in the 30s
30 brackets
and late 20s.
Late 20s.
Late 20s or early 30s. All right, so this is the late 80s to the early 90s. That's the years that you're born.
So
C. What yeah, you go.
So like I said, I like people who are ambitious. I like guys that are like goal oriented.
Do they have to
have
a job?
Yeah, yes, they have to have a job. They have to have a job. Absolutely.
Do they have to live by them? I mean, do they have to have their own place?
I prefer it, but that's not necessarily the end goal. It depends on why you're still living there.
Do you have to have a means of transportation other than public?
Yes. Or even if you don't have a car, I'm okay with it, but you have to know how to get around. Like I think and this just became a new requirement for me because literally I would be the one that was driving everywhere. Like
Isn't that
I would
weird,
be
though?
the one that was driving. I would pick you up. I would take you out. I would be like the one that's like, okay, we're going to make plans. We're going to do this. It wasn't any meeting halfway.
Right.
It wasn't any of that. It was me taking my time out to drive and see you. And one dude, literally, I had this one guy literally live all the way, I think it was, he lived like a
Up
good
north or...
while away from me.
Yeah.
And I literally drove from my house to his house to drive back to my house. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, and then...
It's a lot.
It's just like literally... And then I drove him back home after the whole freaking date went horrible. Like, it went horrible. And it's just like...
Oh no, I would have dropped you off somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm like, I really just drove you all the way back. And you know why the date went horrible? Because I didn't want to have sex. Literally, that was what it was.
Your heart is so big because I couldn't do it. I would have left them at the date. You're like, you know what? I might have brought you here, but you're going to find your way
home. And I'm just like, y'all, I don't know. But literally, so that is a new requirement. Like, you have to have a public way of transportation. I can either drive you, like, I can either take you, or we can either meet halfway, or you have to come to me. I'm not doing
is that weird, though? is that weird though? Because I mean, this was before my time of dating, but like guys used to pick up the girls, but now girls. I feel this is just a feeling. I feel like girls now are picking up guys more often than guys are picking up girls.
Maybe it's just our circle. Maybe it's just our circle because I definitely do feel like I've definitely gone through and picked up guys.
But even
often.
outside of our circle, I feel like guys don't have. There's more guys that don't have cars than girls have cars.
I don't know.
And I think that it's a social construct thing. Like, why are daughters more likely to get cars than sons? Sons, they're like, oh, well, you gotta go and find your means to go and get a car. I'm not gonna help you. Or, like, I feel like parents are more likely to give their children, their girls, cars than guys.
I really don't know.
That could be a separate conversation, but
this probably is a separate conversation because I don't know. Like, literally,
all the guys that I've been with, except for like maybe a few, they didn't have cars.
Yeah, but what does that do to the females though?
I'm just wondering, like, why is it like that? Like, all of my friends had cars. All my girlfriends had cars.
But you're saying like their parents gave them the cars?
Their parents, I want to say, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then a guy versus a guy, like they have to get their own car.
Yeah, like I always had to go and pick up the guys.
Well, yeah, you always have to pick up the guys. I guess I just didn't understand what you're saying. But like for me personally, like yeah, that's the thing. Like I remember one dude, we were online dating, whatever, talking, and this one dude wanted me to drive all the way to Connecticut to come pick him or come see him. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
No.
You come to me. You're older than me. Like
you're old. Girl.
And that's the other thing too. And maybe I am picky. I don't know. But that's the other thing too. Like that's if you're older than me,
come on now.
I expect you to have like your life together way better.
Get your life together.
If you're my age or younger, I am totally okay with us. Like that's why I'm
hustling together, being on the same page. But if you're older than me, you gotta be more established. And
yeah, I expect that. I've had guys like literally that are older than me that I'm like, yo, like,
what?
How am I trying to be the one taking care of you? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
That sounds like someone in their second childhood. Shout out to Nas.
And that's the other thing. So we were talking about guys that I want. So basically, my thing is now we have to have a car. Before, that was never an issue for me. No. I didn't care. I didn't care about picking them up. But I just noticed the level of expectancy that it became of like, okay, I'm driving to get you. I'm doing this. I'm doing X, Y, and Z.
And then they won't even offer you gas money.
Nothing. And it was just like, what am I doing this for?
Yeah.
And then also it's like I said, pretty much anything that any dates I've gone on, I pretty much paid for it. Pretty much because I wanted to go. So, and that's the other thing too.
Did they offer though, or did you were just like, I'm just gonna do?
Sometimes they offered, some are like, oh, let me split, but then sometimes I'm like, no, I'm good. Like it's fine. It depends on how bad the date was. To be honest with you.
I'm gonna break that down.
Okay.
Why did you feel like you had to go and do it? Just because of the sheer fact that you wanted to go?
No, sometimes it is because I wanted to go, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pay for it.
Did you ask them out on the date?
Yeah.
You asked them out. Well,
I was the one who was like, yeah, let's go here. Let's go to this place.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't like they really wanted, like, it wasn't like they were like, hey, like, let's go here. If a guy has asked me out, like, to take me on a date, they usually ask me, oh, where do you want to go anyway?
Yeah.
And usually they don't plan it. So it's just like, if that's the case, I'm going to go somewhere. I don't know. It's just, for me personally, I just rather pay. Another reason why I'd rather pay is because I don't want you to be like, as we talked before, oh, I paid for it, so I'm expecting this now.
Oh, I see the angle. Because then it's like, well, if I pay, then you got to go and do this for me. And you don't want to fall in that trap. Like, I might be pressured into having
pressured into doing something I don't want to do. If I was the one, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And, so that's part of the reason why, or like,
that's
we'll go
so toxic. That shit gets me upset.
Wait, what's toxic? Me doing that, or
no?
The whole idea.
The fact that that's a thing. The fact that people, because it has nothing to do with anything. You know, I I shouldn't feel pressured to want to do things that I don't want to do just because of whatever happened prior.
Right.
Especially when it comes to like respecting my body.
Right. And this is one thing too that I'm very and I get it. I get certain things, and this is why I'm very upfront about this, because not all guys. So I mentioned this on like the first season. I haven't really mentioned it too much this season, but in the first season, like I mentioned how when I was younger, I was molested. So that's one thing that I tell guys. Like, I'm like, hey, FYI, this happened to me when I was younger. And I don't do it more of a like, I mean, I don't bring it up right away. It's just like as we're talking about certain things, because I'm just kind of like, I want to let you know, like, there are times where I'm going to be like all gung-ho for like having sex or whatever. But there are other times where it's just like, I'm going to need you to respect my space and respect my body. And that's how important it is to me, because of the fact that I didn't get that when I was younger. So because I didn't get that, that's why I need you to respect it now. And I feel like some guys just like disregard that. It's like they just don't understand it. And it's like almost like by me telling them that, now they're like, oh, wow, she can, now it's even easier for me to pressure her into doing stuff. And I don't know why that's like psychologically like, I don't know if that's like the case, but sometimes it feels like that, because it's just like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, like the one dude I told you that I brought to my house, whatever. So I told him this. I talked to him about it before, and I told him straight up, like, this happened to me when I was younger, so I'm very big on body anatomy and like me having my space, and like I'll invite you into my space if I'm comfortable enough with you. And I kept telling him that, and literally I'm like, okay. I'm sitting on the couch. He just keeps inching closer and closer to me. And I'm just kind of like moving back. I'm moving back. And then he's just like...
You're running out of couch.
Yeah, I'm like running out of couch. Because I'm like, okay. And he just wanted to kiss and whatever. And I'm just like, I'm trying to talk to you. Like, I'm trying to get to know you better. I'm trying to do this. And it's just like, he's just like inching closer and closer. And I'm just like, okay. So then at one point he starts like hugging me and then like kissing me and whatever. And I literally was just like, okay, like, I can't do this. Like, it doesn't feel right. And I'm not going to act like, like, when he wasn't, like, kissing my neck or whatever, it didn't feel good, because it did. But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I'm not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be good because I'm not comfortable. Like, I don't know how much I have to explain to you.
I'm not going to do anything if I'm not fully into.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to perform well either.
Later, then he was just like, "Oh, I can't believe you're like that." Like,
what does that even mean?
And then he was like, "I'm a physical touch person." And I'm like, "Yeah,
who cares?
I get that you're a physical touch person, and I can be a physical touch person, but I need to know you better." Like, and it turned into a whole big thing. A whole big argument.
You can physically touch that doorknob,
and it was like almost like he was trying
to
guilt me for not wanting to have sex. It was like he was trying to guilt me into it.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, I already told you, like, kind of my past. I told you that's why I'm so big on, like, having my physical space and having, like, time to myself and me getting to feel comfortable, because you doing this is not going to make me feel comfortable. You're not helping me. That's why I told you. And if you felt like it was too much for you, and that's another reason why I give people like this thing, because yeah, I've gone to therapy and yeah, I've been healing myself in that, and I'm in a way better headspace than I used to be when it came to sex or anything like that. But that was never a comfortable thing for me. So it's just like when people just automatically jump into like, oh, let's just have sex and I don't know you. It's just like it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be great.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, like, to the listeners, if you're one of those people that do like having sex on the first date or the first interaction, then that's cool. But just know that there's a price that comes with that. Like, anytime that you share in some type of intimate activity, I mean, I'm a firm believer that you become attached, you become interwoven spiritually, and until you work that out and you create that detox to like make that separation with the person that you were intimate with, you're not only gonna get stuck on a physical realm, but it's going to take an effect for the next time that you go into an intimate activity with another person, and then you start losing your intimate connection with yourself. You know what I mean? It's very important. It's very important who you let into your bubble.
Right. And I just think for me, like, it's just like, oh yeah, because that was the other thing. After telling him this and explaining this, all this stuff, and then even like after, like, the last person I was like super intimate with and I actually like really cared about and everything like that, after he hurt me, like that was a whole nother thing. So it was just kind of like, he literally told me like, oh, sex isn't that big a deal and you're making it a bigger deal than it is. And I'm just like, I literally like, and for me, I just don't understand it, because I literally gave you a whole dissertation, like not a dissertation, but I like made you like, I'm very forthcoming and honest about what my issues are and what I'm going through. And it's just like, if you want to deal with it, you can. If you don't, you don't. But like, literally just respect my space. So that's one thing. I really want someone, you ask me what I like, I really want someone who can respect my space and respect what I say and listen to what I say. I don't want someone who's going to tell me like what they think I want to hear just so they can get what they want.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want someone who's goal oriented. I want someone who's like really knows what they want out of life. And like, for instance, I'll give another thing. Like, we were just talking about that look and appearance thing. One thing that guys have told me multiple times is like, oh, I like how natural you are. I like how you don't wear a lot of makeup. I like how this, that, and the other. But then next thing you know, like after me, they're dating somebody else that wears a lot of makeup, who wears a lot of fake eyelashes, who wears a lot of like all this other stuff. And it makes
you think like,
and I'm just like, wow, like, so why'd you say all that?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm just kind of like, like, where's the disconnect? What am I missing? And it's not like I'm trying to compare, because I'm happy for you, whatever, if that's what you want to do. But it's just more of like, okay, well, what do I need to do to attract the person that I'm looking for? And that's another thing that I feel like is slightly dangerous for me, because of the situations that I've been in. When it comes to guys, I've been in a lot of dangerous situations. I've been in other situations where like, I talked about this on another episode where some guy literally tried to pay me for sex. Mm-hmm. I've been in a lot of situations where I'm just kind of like, when they say like, oh, you attract what you put out. So then sometimes I get nervous, like, well, what am I putting out? Like, what am I putting out that I'm attracting this? And I think that's the craziest part. And then anytime I attract a guy that I feel like is more of my level or more of like where I want, it never lasts long. It never goes anywhere. And I'm just kind of like, okay, well, what am I like, what am I giving back? So I don't know. So I feel like sometimes that's like a toxic thing, because I'm definitely going to be like, oh, it's my fault. Like, I did something. I'm attracting something. I'm giving somebody's energy.
I was gonna ask you, like, I know that you're the type of person that likes to put everything out in the beginning. Do you see that as, like, do you see positive feedback of doing that? Like, I don't know if that, like, is that one of those things that, like, should you rely more on leaving things to chance? Like, but then at the same time, then how do you know that you're getting what you want?
I guess that's my thing, because I think
you don't want to waste any time.
I sampled it off my mom. My mom did that. She told my dad exactly what she wanted. She told him exactly what she was looking for. She was very specific. They got engaged after like 3 months of dating, and then they were married that following 6 months later, and then they've been together ever since.
That's
They've been together
wild.
for 37 years.
I've never seen that before. I wouldn't even say that I suggest that, but if it works for you, if you just gotta blink at somebody and then get married, like, if that works for you.
And my dad had said to her, she said, like, at the time, he never heard anybody that honest before. Like, just be like, this is what I want. So I was just kind of like, okay, I kind of modeled off that. And I think that sometimes maybe it gets me into too much trouble or something like that, and gives people like, but the thing is, most of the time people are like, oh yeah, it's cool. And they'll still hang out with me. They'll still do whatever. And then all of a sudden
I don't think that people really know what they want.
Yeah,
I feel like you know what you want and you act in that. But I feel like people, they're just thrown off by, like, how what's the word? How frank you can be. You're like, nah, this girl's got some ulterior motive.
Maybe.
No. Like, can we just not?
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I'm done ranting right now. I guess that was more of a rant, but anyway. Oh yeah, one thing that you asked me before was like, oh, like would I do I pursue guys? Like, yeah, I'll pursue them. I don't have a problem with that. But one other thing is like when it comes to, I'm not even a big marriage person. Like, I know that sounds crazy. If they want to get married, that's fine. So in terms of like, you know, I know nowadays that there are some females who like ask guys to marry them, you know, whatever. We'll have a discussion. We'll be like, hey, do you want to get married? Are you thinking about it? I don't know if I would blatantly ask, and I swear to God, he better not ask me
In a crowd?
in a crowd or in front of people or anything
So,
like
like, if
that,
you
because
were
I
out
will
to
say
dinner-
no.
If you were out to dinner and it was like, it's an intimate, like you're at your own table,
Yeah.
and what if he was like, hey, will you marry me? Or like if he went down
On one knee,
knee.
nope, that's it. No. Don't do it in front of my family. Don't do it in front of don't do it in front of friends. Don't do it anything like that. No, I don't want it.
I mean, I get you.
See,
but
I'm not
I
even
don't.
that big of a romantic person. So
You
that's
know,
why like I just don't like it. So don't do it. Just don't do it. And I feel like that, I think that would make me even more upset because I'd be like, if
you don't know
knew
me, you're not.
you would never
you're
do
not
that.
Creating my love map.
Map.
You're going against my love map.
Yes. If you knew me, you would never, ever, ever do that. So
do you even know me?
That's
What are we even doing here?
So anyway, I'm gonna like end it like that. But like I said, guys, I don't really have advice for this because I want you guys advice. I want you to give me advice on dating because I really don't know. I'm kind of like at a loss right now, and I really don't even want to do it. Like, it's like I'm so done with dating. I don't even want to do it. So I just want to be one and done. Like the next person I meet, that like let's like really make it work because I don't want to date anymore. It is frustrating.
my advice for people and to you is to play it cool. Don't overthink it. I know that that's a thing that you have an issue with. Okay. Play it cool. Take each day one day at a time. Once you get the person, not like, well, I guess before and after. Take it one day at a time. Don't have any type of expectations. No expectations whatsoever, because that's how you start ruining stuff for you and for the person, because no one's ever going to meet those expectations. What?
I disagree with that.
No one's going to meet your expectations.
I disagree that no one's going to meet my expectations, but you have to have the basics. Like, I feel like having an expectation is, like, part of the thing because it's like you can't be like...
You can have conditions, but you can't have expectations. I never said that you can't have conditions.
What's the difference?
A difference between a condition and expectation?
Yes.
Conditions is like, what are you going to stand for and what you're not going to stand for? Expectations, like, don't like, and this is like stupid stuff, not saying that you would, but don't like, I expect to have Sunday dinner every Sunday, or I expect this person to, like, anything that's outside of yourself, you can't base anything out of, because that's in a realm that has nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
So
I'm saying, like, what? I mean, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
so, like, you
like
can't control everybody else.
You
I
can't
get
control
that.
anybody else. So, I heard I guess it's a quote. I don't know who said it, but I saw it, and I take it like this. A farmer doesn't tell how the seed to grow. Doesn't tell how the seed to grow.
Right.
So, you would be the farmer.
Okay.
And the relationship is going to be the plant, but the seed is partner. You're not going to tell your partner how you want them to be. You got to let them be.
Well, yeah, I believe in, like, letting people be themselves. Like, I get that. Like, if that's who it is, like, I get that. I completely understand. I'm never going to try to control anybody.
Right. So that means that having no expectations, whether they... Like, let's just say, like, you got somebody and they're late all the time. What are you going to do?
We're gonna have to talk about that because that's an issue.
You have to talk about it, and let's just say like either they're on the side like, okay, I want to work on it,
or they don't. I mean, I gotta change my own stuff about it. Like I'm gonna have to either be lax about it or be like more on it. But I think like I don't know. I feel like conditions are the same as expectations. Maybe that's why, because our definitions are the same. Or like to me, it's like the same thing. So, like I don't know. Maybe it's different, but I think it's like the same thing. But
and then my last thing is, which is something that I have trouble with. Just remember to stay present. Like, not everything is as big. I feel like I say this after almost every episode. Make sure that you stay present, because not everything is as big as a deal as it feels like in the moment.
I got you. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, like I said, you guys give us your thoughts and opinion. Like what you feel like I should do in terms of like dating around and what I feel like what you feel like I might be missing, or if I even explain myself properly. But you can always check us out at Allegedly Credible on Instagram and Facebook, and now TikTok that we don't post anything on.
Yeah.
And then you can you can listen to us on all streaming platforms. We're on all of them. And you can check us out at www.allegedlycredible.com. You can follow me personally at Creative Lady Fay. I'll post my art and my music on there.
Hop into those DMs, guys.
And you can also follow my fitness journey at Lady Fay 212.
And you can follow me on Instagram under mellow_supremo. And you can also find me on Facebook on the Allegedly Credible page. And please look out for my friend Danielle, because she has an art show coming up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wait. Is this gonna... I think I should have posted that on the other ones.
Well, if you didn't see it before, make sure you see it after. Is that the art house?
The House of Art.
House of Art.
Yeah.
It's in New York. She's doing big things out here.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Bye. Thank you for another great season.
Yeah, bye.